Hello, friends. Welcome to Much Review About Nothing. The name Uglydolls may not be very flattering, but hey, it sure beats God Left Me Unfinished, dolls. On this podcast, we review a movie we haven't seen through cultural osmosis and what we can find on the internet. I'm your host, Billy Greer, voiced by DMX.
And we're your co-hosts, Jake Greer, voiced by Jay-Z, and
Luke Greer, voiced by Biggie Smalls.
Let's don't watch a movie.
I'm ugly.
You're ugly and what?
Square?
No, proud.
I'm ugly and I'm proud.
Good. Say it louder.
I'm ugly and I'm proud.
Louder.
I'm ugly and I'm proud.
Louder.
I'm ugly and I'm proud. I am ugly and I'm proud. I'm ugly and I'm proud.
Is that what he calls it?
all right. So
Zombie.
this time on Introspection Inspection, we do have a new review.
Oh, yes, yes.
By a podcast about something. The people we mentioned last time, they left a 5-star review on our podcast. I figured we'd do it at the end of the episodes and we can put them in the MVP box.
Yeah.
That's what we've been doing for just very positive reviews.
And we listened to their podcast and give them 1 star.
No, we didn't.
Damn, that's right.
No, I've been listening enough to give them a full review yet, but I probably will in the future, once I listen to a few more episodes. But, massive shout out to a podcast.
We should just give them 5 stars,
Huh?
just out of principle.
No, it's corruption. It's quid pro quo. We gotta dress this up a bit.
I guess I could just go ahead and give them 5 stars
Yeah, why would you not?
without writing a review, but I don't know.
Hey,
Would you have to listen?
Any other podcasts out there? You scratch our back, we'll scratch yours.
Do you have to listen to a certain amount before you can?
No, I was just gonna give
Okay,
them
so
a
it's
full...
These
due
guys
diligence.
are hilarious.
Yeah, just do the due diligence, because I have listened to a little bit, but I could just go ahead and give them 5 stars. But
Yeah, might be nice.
we may not even have to write a review, but I'm not sure. I'm not
This
sure how much...
podcast is great. I was not influenced in any way.
This is turning out terribly. They've been so nice to us.
No, I know, and I feel like I'm partially to blame, but I was just trying to be a respectful member of the podcast community, however that works.
And I enjoy
guess so.
bringing your sins to light and make you squirm in your seats.
Okay, but I mean, again, we are very thankful.
Oh yeah, very thankful.
Yeah, for
So
this, for this
thankful.
kind of. And you made it see insincere now. This is awful. I got to like get rid of all of this.
You'll never get rid of me, Billy. I'll always be here.
Okay, but you know what you know that we're grateful. So.
Yeah, they listen to the podcast, I assume. I mean, they know that I'm like the edgy, snarky kind of guy. They know it's only a joke.
You're the bad boy. If we
I'm
were-
a bad boy.
If we were a boy band, you'd be the.
Oh yeah, I have like
the moody guy.
I have one hair over one eye, spiky black hair. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay, well,
Let's go ahead and introduce the movie, I guess.
yes,
And
I referenced it, but
we have a historical moment here on the podcast that this is the first future review that's coming to its conclusion, I guess, because we're finally reviewing the full movie and not just a single trailer.
yeah.
And so we do have some extra content this time because I have gone through and I picked out our predictions and other observations. So, we have more to work with, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it's the 1st follow-up.
And this proves that we keep our promises. I mean,
Yes.
for all you know, we've just recorded the future episodes and never come back to them again.
Well, the stupidity of this, I mean, I guess because we need more content to be, built up online, but we don't watch the movies.
No,
so
I
it's
know.
not like we a future review technically has as much, merit and we're as knowledgeable there as we are in this version of the show. So
Yeah, really, one's more about total ignorance because we
Yeah.
have no actual content to work on. It's really just us.
yeah,
But for these, we can leech off of content,
online. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
that
the only
way-
difference.
That way, we don't have to come up with all the talking points and interesting bits and funny bits. We can leech off the content that we use
Yeah,
like normal.
yeah.
If we were giving a scientific name, I wonder what would it be, like podcast parasitis or something like that?
Yeah, we're podcast parasites, but
Yeah.
it's slightly more informed. That's the only only difference.
We're parasites and we're proud of it.
So yeah, let's watch the trailer for Uglydolls. Bunch of ugly dolls living on an island, end up in perfect land, and I think they want to become the partner of a kid on Earth, so they gotta prove their mettle. This is my brief little synopsis here. But,
I think isn't it called Perfection? Like, just their town is called Perfection?
I can't remember. I went over
think
the
so.
synopsis a little
We
bit.
have done the first
Wikipedia
trailer, so we're
page.
doing the second trailer this time,
Yeah.
so we can get some more information. Because the first trailer was really bad for telling us what the movie was actually about.
Well, I mean, it was a teaser, so I think.
Oh, that's
why.
true. It was a teaser.
Intentionally vague. But
Teasers
okay.
don't tell us anything. It just gets interested in the movie.
Yeah, I know. I hate that.
All right, let's watch the trailer. I don't know. I'm at a loss for words here. It's not like it was that astonishing. It's just...
I am too. Like, I had some things to say, but now I really don't. I mean, the first observation, of course, is that my opinion on the lip syncing is still the same.
Oh, it's still. I guess I wasn't paying attention.
Well, I
a
want
little
to
bit
say
off,
this trailer has left me feeling very full, fulfilled, and just overall happy. 'Cause
Not
it's
empty like
It's a story about it's a classic underdog story or cat thing, but still, it looks cute, perfect for kids. You know, saying, "Hey, you may be deformed, but hey, you might be a winner one day."
I like how, presumably, they just, in the trailer, rejected dolls get tossed out, basically.
Yes.
And
Well,
so-
maybe we should
And this is why.
back up and explain more about the context.
Well, you
or-
see, I
I
want to
guess
add
so.
a bit that this is why I advocate that you incinerate them with holy fire. They don't conjugate in their little slums outside.
Okay, dynamic discussion. We're in dynamic
I
discussion.
think you said that, but
Yeah.
did you want to go into
My
that?
point still
Yeah.
stands.
So the plot of Uglydolls, as far as I can ascertain, is that dolls are, I guess they're made,
Yes.
but they're alive
Yeah.
at some juncture, and the ugly ones get thrown out and put on an island.
Where is all of this in relation to
Prob-
the big world?
Probably,
I
off,
don't know.
probably off mainland China.
I guess.
But like, it seems I kind of have a problem with it in that it doesn't really make any sense. Like, you have basically new fantastical worlds that they live in,
Yeah.
but there's also the human regular world, and
Well-
these dolls are alive, and then they get transferred to the human
It's
regular
kind of
world.
horrifying, actually, because when they leave the
Who's-
doll world, don't they like cease to live? They just become like flat. It's
Who's creating the dolls? Have they created their world? Why?
I mean, these were all questions I had. My theory was like pocket dimensions that they're sent to, and
Why
they can
can't-
leave them.
Why can't they do like the Sonic movie and have the U.S. military involved in it?
They may get involved. if
we
things
got
get out
we
of
got
hand.
ugly dolls on an island. We need to weaponize them.
But ostensibly humans are putting the dolls there. Like, we know what's going on. I'm assuming because they're made in a factory
Right, they're made in a factory, but we're blessing these dolls with life.
Yeah,
It's kind of, is that like,
it's an
is that a
ethical
pro
issue.
for the movie that it's kind of delving into like the ethical or the morality of like creating life and then tossing it out, or creating life just for people to play with? Like,
Yeah.
They should call this movie Detroit Become Ugly Doll.
Yeah,
yeah, like
a ghost in the doll.
yeah, but like in a kids movie, I feel like, I mean, to be brutally honest, I don't think the creators really realized the implications
No,
of
of course they
anything they
didn't.
did.
Yeah.
They wanted to sell ugly dolls.
Yeah. That's another thing of like why they're doing ugly dolls now. I'll get into that. I have some things to discuss.
Yeah,
But
I didn't I mention that in like the future review.
probably, yeah, one of us did. But yeah, when I thinking about this plot, I wrote down it's Toy Story plus Nightmare Before Christmas, and that they go out to a different dimension, kind of like Jack does, plus fascism, because that's what I don't understand. It's like dolls are made in a factory, but in order to prove your worth to become the partner of a child on Earth, you have to undergo this gauntlet in Perfection World. All those dolls being made are those like human dolls.
Yeah.
They have to undergo trials in order to be worthy of becoming worthy of a child on Earth.
Then why don't we see any other types of dolls going through the
Well,
trial?
that's what I assume maybe seeing the movie would clear that up. But what also was disturbing to me is that these human dolls, they just look like tiny humans with maybe yarn hair.
Yeah, we were fooled in the trailer
Yeah.
thinking these were actual humans.
These are, I
you
mean,
know?
for all intents and purposes, they look like humans, but they're tiny. So this movie wants us to, it's forcing us to consider the idea that on Earth, there's tiny humans brought into regular humans' lives to what? Be like servants or,
Well, dolls
the guardians?
for kids to play with.
But they're alive.
I
It's
know
like-
they're alive. That's the whole thing that doesn't make any sense. Do we have any pros and cons at this point?
It's the movie's pro-slavery.
Yeah,
just slavery.
Human pets.
But
Yeah.
some minor things at this point. Like I said, they're made in the factory. Anything that's ugly is rejected and thrown out
Yeah.
into Uglyville. But ostensibly, have the humans, I presume, who are overlords of this,
Yeah.
it's like Maze Runner, really.
Yeah.
Have they labeled it Uglyville, or have the Uglydolls labeled it Uglyville?
Yeah,
and at that point, they know they're ugly?
Yeah, how do they know they're ugly?
By what standard are they ugly?
Maybe it's an innocent thing. Like maybe as they were being, brought to life screaming, they get hurt. They hear like the voices say, "This one's ugly, toss it out." So that's the only word they know.
Yeah.
They're like, "Oh, ugly." To them, it doesn't mean what it means to us. It's just the only word they know. It's like, "Oh, we
Yeah.
must be ugly."
I feel like you've given it way more thought than the writers did. I feel like the writers are like, well, the brand's called Ugly-Dolls, so they're...
Yeah, but I would have
they
had
call
like
themselves
a
that.
half form one laying on a table twitching, and it's just like, "Ew, this one's ugly." Toss it out. Like, I'm ugly.
Okay, well, let's write some things down.
Yeah.
So, pros, it forces to consider the morality of creating life.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, I
kind
mean,
of like the whole AI conundrum.
In that sense, it's really an interesting thought experiment, I guess.
I'll just put AI conundrum to sum it up. 'Cause-
And two, it's so nice to see that this biologists everywhere cannot create life, but a sweatshop can.
yeah.
Kind of pathetic, really.
But I wonder what the process is. Do they come to life because they're made?
It's love.
Or, yeah, I mean, that's normally like...
Love in a factory? I mean,
Yeah,
I
there's
guess
no
it
love
could
in a
happen.
factory.
I know, that's
it's
what
like
I'm
it's like
saying.
the wire mother monkey. They were
Oh,
they
they
love
they
the wire
bond
thing with the bottle in, but to them it's the metal hand.
They bond with the metal hand.
Yeah, they bond with the metal hand.
And also pro-slavery movie because
Yeah, and it kind of is slavery. I mean, they are toys, but they're sentient toys who have
Yeah.
wants and desires.
Yeah.
They want to be with a human. Somehow
Yeah.
they know legends of a human.
Yeah.
There is a big missed opportunity. They should have had Leonardo DiCaprio voice Lou then, if it's a slavery movie.
It's like Doll Django Unchained.
Yes.
I mean, to kind
Ugly
of
Unchained.
to kind of bring up some predictions we had, I feel like we were kind of close. So
We were pretty close, I think.
I was wrong about the bad guy though. I
We-
thought it'd be
we
an
all
old-
were,
I thought
so-
it would be an old lady.
But we were right that there was a bad guy at all, and that
Yeah.
he's emblematic of like perfection, or
I was
the
off
ideals
by
of the island,
Gender and
the
age.
land, whatever it is.
So,
Yeah.
Billy's prediction, Uglydolls are happy in a village. They love their weirdness. A group of them get separated off into Perfectionville, and we'll all be about embracing our differences.
Yeah,
you know.
well, obviously,
Yeah.
the feel like brain dead.
I mean, Luke's kind of correct. The Uglydolls are symbols of imperialism and invade Perfectionville. They kind of
They
invade...
kind of I expect imperialism to be.
the Uglydolls go on a journey to achieve perfection and want perfection. That was kind of my throw. It's not exactly perfection, but I guess perfection enough to be with a human, so that's not wrong either.
They kind of do. I think they're going to learn. I mean, obviously, they're going to learn that's not what they really want, but it's kind of an ends to a means for them, at least initially.
Right, they're at least
so.
going on a journey. It's not an accidental thing, like I kind of thought it was going to be,
Yeah.
like accidentally get separated off.
Yeah.
Some residents become attached to them, and things become weird or less perfect. And going into that, Perfectionville will be more colorful and weird by the end of the movie, but we don't know that.
We don't know, but I think we're pretty close.
and too, they gave some of the weird doll slave people. They gave them celebrity voice actors, so you know that they're going to be main characters.
Yeah, I mean, they introduced one.
Well, there's one. There's
There's at least one, yeah.
the girl with purple hair, I think.
And then part of that, they're going to cause trouble or liberate. You know,
Yeah.
they're going to they are causing trouble. Obviously, those are some pretty obvious predictions. But
So I mean, we had this pretty nailed down, and I kind of wanted to talk about the message of the film.
oh yes, because this is very important.
Yeah, people are gonna think I'm a heartless monster, and I am. Don't get me wrong, but
Oh yes, we live with them, so we know.
this message about just like, I don't know how to parse this out or broach this, but the message is accepting yourself, warts and all. You're fine the way you are.
It makes you unique.
Yeah, and there's validity to that, obviously, but why not a movie where it's like about bettering yourself? You know, I feel like these movies send a message to kids like they don't need to change at all or improve or better themselves.
Yeah,
they're just
I
inherently
think
perfect or fine.
They tell them to wallow away in stasis as they fester like swamp water.
It's funny you use that word because I wrote down movie about accepting and wallowing in your own deficiencies and mediocrity.
Yes.
You know.
Well, I think what it's really about is, in actuality, it's a little bit more complex, but it basically breaks down to two things. Things you can't control and things you can. So I would say the things you can, like for us, is, you know, eating right, exercise, you know, baths and different things.
Problematic, don't say that. No.
I guess, I don't even know if putting makeup in that is really... Is that just hiding the
We're not going to say that. No, no, makeup's horrible.
Cut it out.
You're beautiful.
Cut it out.
You're
Cut it
naturally
out.
beautiful.
Shut it down.
I'm not sure about that one. But I just mean the things we can control, we obviously want to better. But the things we can't control, we just got to cope or just live with it, basically.
Yeah, but sometimes the things wrong with you don't make you special. They just make you gross.
Right.
That's just the
that's
harshness of reality.
You know?
You aren't a special snowflake. You might just be a pile of garbage. But that's okay. But still, you gotta face reality.
Each pile of garbage is unique.
Oh,
Have you ever seen a pile of garbage that are exactly the same? No.
Hey, you know what? I'm wrong. Garbage. Every pile of garbage is beautiful and unique.
So all garbage is unique.
Yes. So I feel like I've learned something here.
See, you can learn a thing or two from old Luke over here.
We should embrace our garbageness.
Yes.
All garbage is unique.
All garbage is unique.
Or I guess every pile of garbage is unique.
Yes.
I guess is better, but.
So, I think another thing, just kind of branching off, is Lou is kind of hot, you know? He's very sexy there.
He's like a child. Shut it down. Shut it down.
But
he's a doll.
I do... There has to be a fandom for Lou.
Well, of course, there was fandoms for the Onceler from the Lorax movie, and that emo Who from Horton Hears a Who.
Uglydolls, Lou X Reader.
Oh no!
Wattpad.
No.
And it's funny because he's a villain. Just like I don't even think he has redemption from what I read in the.
So yeah, the Onceler and now Lou, they can go, and I guess the Grinch in a way.
Yeah,
they can all
Grinch
kind of go into their own special animated box. I guess. And then we lock them up. We throw a key
into the box of shame.
But yeah, that was the first thing I thought of when I saw the villain. Basically,
yeah, he's definitely
there was going to be kind of a fandom around him.
So yeah, the plot just seems kind of dull and it just seems like every other children's movie plot.
It seems cute for kids, you know.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Throw them in a movie theater, they scream and stuff, shove popcorn in their mouth.
Yeah, kids will probably like it just fine. I mean, it didn't do so hot at the box office, but rent it when it comes out. Kids will probably like it. It's a harmless message, but I don't know. I want to see more variety in messages. There's nothing wrong with like wanting to improve yourself.
Well, it may not be so harmless with some of the
reviews,
so you know.
Maybe I spoke too soon, but what did this review say? I always prepare way too early.
You forget what you prepare.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just basically the review saying it's just too obvious, and that's kind of my impression watching the trailer. So I mean,
unless it was made made by Disney, then they would be singing a different tune.
Yeah, I was going to bring up something that's totally off topic.
Oh, well, go ahead.
Just the fact that, like, I think Aladdin's already made $112 million.
Oh, yeah. It's just the same movie again. At least this is, it's taking an IP, a new IP, relatively.
Yeah, new IP.
I wonder if maybe they should make a genie ugly doll.
Well,
but he already is one.
Yeah. In some, like, I guess I kind of would put the cons down that, like, the animals, as far as I understand, still look like animals.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm not sure if we haven't seen much, but you know what I mean? That I feel like that's kind of a con, that there's essentially normal animals in Uglydollsville for whatever reason, or is that...
Yeah,
well, where...
That's true then, because, like, what is wrong with, like, those... I remember in the first trailer there was, like, crabs or lobsters.
Lobsters, yeah.
I mean, they're cutesy
and
lobsters
cats.
and cats, but,
the cats are kind of off, but they're not...
They're not off enough that it's,
Again, they're not very ugly.
We can't make that point again. That was the point of the future review that we did.
But what I mean by that is that the cats look perfectly fine as dolls, basically. Why are they down there?
Yeah.
And why are there still video of them?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
This movie raises a ton of questions.
And another thing is, I wish that when Wedgehead fell and woke up and said, who are you? I just want him to scream like, what am I? Had this, I don't know, this existential crisis because he's just now alive and tossed out. I just want him to just scream and question everything, like, what's going on?
Yeah, there's, I always feel like with, I guess not to get too deep in my own personal life, but I wrote a novel, which is the dark version of Toy Story.
Yeah.
And I feel like there's so much room for just the existential and disturbing nature of being a toy.
Yeah, and being alive.
So that's why I'm always, like, with movies like this, I'm always thinking way too hard about them. And I feel like they always gloss over the really weird and uncomfortable parts, even in Toy Story.
Shut up, Billy. Consume product.
Well, at least... I get the feeling that in Toy Story it's incidental or accidental that they're alive.
Yeah.
Like the manufacturers have no idea about Toy Story. This one, I'm not so sure.
It seems like the world is geared around this. Kind of like in Pokemon, everything's geared around Pokemon. In this, it seems the world fully understands that dolls are coming to, like, guide their children, like spiritual gurus through life.
I don't know, but just...
This is a musical, right?
Yes, it's a musical.
That's why every cast member is a singer.
The thing is,
Pop star.
I wonder that if for a sequel they can have, like, the main character get abandoned by her human at a garage sale, and they can sing a rendition of When Somebody Loved Me.
Do they finally? I guess they finally get their humans.
They do. Spoiler
Well,
alert.
of course you know they're gonna get their
And
humans.
the pink one with the messed up teeth gets a girl with messed up teeth. So
Does she also have, like, some horrible growths on her head?
yeah,
Or maybe
it's where her little girl's deformed like a bowling pin shaped girl with no nose. It got way too literal.
See,
Finally a doll for me.
and this is the boy. It looks like a bat.
Yeah, it's got
it's that boy.
yeah, okay.
What would have made this a lot better is if they kind of went the Lego Movie route, where it's actually just ultimately just kids playing with toys.
Maybe
if it came to that, like if they built that around it, where final reveal, it's just kids playing with toys, I think that would have been okay.
Yeah, I guess it'd be fine, but then it'd be too much like the Lego Movie.
I guess, but then it's just...
At least it wouldn't be as...
It's just boring. It's just boring, genericness.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't think it would have hurt it if it was like the Lego
No,
movie.
I wouldn't have. I think the biggest problem, just now thinking about it, is the fact that we see them being made in a factory. If dolls were like their own entity, or they came into life through magic, then it would feel less weird, because the whole thing is like magical. It's weird that's like they're built in a dark, dingy factory that's shipped off to a magical island, and they're all alive. And
I mean, the other thing is, did we need a human element? Could it just...
Well, yeah, because there's got to be something for them to aspire to, and and they got to tie it into the audience.
I guess, but then the journey, they could like we thought it could be a journey, basically a journey story,
And
where
they
they
get
get
on the way.
They
That's
get
true.
separated from Uglyville, and they want to go back, and they go through a couple different lands.
They go through like 7 levels of purgatory. They're led by another deformed ugly doll. He leads up to the various dolldoms,
And then they get to the final level, and it's just a giant doll chewing on 2 others.
That's
or 3 others.
others,
Sorry, yeah.
So I guess cons, the fact that they're made in a factory.
Yeah,
It kind
that's
of ruins the magic,
Yeah, I feel like that's the main issue. If you take
And
that out, the
and
plot
not only
works
that,
out
I want
better.
another con.
Mhm.
They're dumping all these dolls. This factory is. That's horrible for the environment. They don't biodegrade or anything like that. They're just dumping dolls out into the wilderness.
But they're alive.
I don't
so-
care. They don't biodegrade. It's not environmentally friendly. I don't think it serves a good message. It's illegal dumping, basically.
Well, it's kind of a ecological disaster, because we don't know what influence dolls have on the natural environment. It
And
could
they
be like
built a
when,
slum.
Yeah. It could be like when they had too many rabbits in Australia and they were destroying the environment. We don't know what dolls do to an environment.
They don't die.
Yeah.
In the normal sense, they're practically immortal.
So dolls are a horrible pest because they just consume for eternity unless they're, eviscerated or
So
something.
do they consume anything? That's a good question.
I think
Well, they had a fortune cookie. In
Yeah,
the
they were
trailer,
eating
assuming-
dinner.
They
yeah.
were eating.
So they consume
And
for
this,
eternity.
and this goes back to my theory that it's an island off mainland China because they're eating Chinese takeout.
Yeah.
The horrible implications of that is, what happens when they get to a human and like, do they still need to eat? Like these dolls?
I guess you have to see. That was another thing I forgot to bring up. Was that it's another burden on the family. It's like having another kid because you got to feed this thing. You have to clothe it because they're nude. But the human dolls, you probably have to clothe them. Yeah. Unless they're just like
they
Barbie
come
dolls
with their own clothes.
That's true. I don't know, but they get dirty. You'd have to, or torn up probably.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And that's kind of horrific because if your ugly doll gets attacked by a pet, you have to like put down the ugly doll in front of your kid or something like that.
This is like a Tim and Eric sketch. Where, like they bring home a tiny human basically. It's like, this is a new human, new child,
It's the living doll by Cinco.
Yeah. It's exactly like that. Like the implications of all of this.
Yeah, it's chilling. And I just had another thought where these things are going to outlive us. There will come a time in the distant future where Earth is like this, blasted wasteland. It would just be dolls roaming around.
They aren't affected by radiation.
I'm sorry, but doll Mad Max sounds like the greatest thing ever.
That's pretty fun.
Just like this Fallout situation with immortal dolls.
We are dolls, and we are tormented by what they call Joe. It's the G.I. Joe doll out there, on his toy like military car. He's like hunting down dolls.
Yeah. But also, just in the smaller time frame, these dolls are going to outlive so many kids. They're going to become jaded and just depressed.
Yeah, I have 5 kids. They're all the same.
Yeah. They all blur together. There's a bar for dolls. They're all drinking their sorrows away. Okay, so your con was the dolls are like an ecological disaster.
Yeah, they consume and don't die.
Yeah,
basically. And
also,
if they do get ripped apart, they don't biodegrade. So there's just mounds of them.
Because they are potentially immortal, and they assumedly have their own intelligence. Does that mean they're just like in Uglyville itself? Would they slowly build up their technology and maybe they take over the humans?
Because it's like in a lesser sense, like the monkeys in a room with a typewriter, waiting for them to type out, Hamlet.
Yeah, they have an infinite amount of time.
Yeah.
Then they could just create anything, essentially.
Yeah, with enough time that says that might occur, possibly. And this is way simpler. All they have to do is construct society, which they clearly know how to do. So
they have food, they have buildings, they have bureaucracy and a government.
Yeah, with immortality, there's nothing you can't eventually achieve. So they would conquer the Earth eventually.
Are the next movies going to be about kind of like Rise of the Planet of the Apes, basically, except for dolls?
Yeah. So I think that's a pro. This is an origin story for its Rise of the Planet of the Uglydolls.
Yeah. Eventually we'll get those movies, and we'll...
Maybe the single most original thing Hollywood produced in who knows how long,
but I feel like we've gone quite a while. Do we want to go to random reviews?
Yeah, we definitely should.
I want to think more about the doll apocalypse. We got zombie apocalypse, nuclear holocaust.
We could talk about this forever at this point.
Yeah.
That's enough for dynamic discussions.
With random reviews, we have Giuliani.
Rudy Giuliani, former mayor of New York. Right, okay.
He likes the ugly dolls.
Says, they didn't give it a thumbs up or thumbs down, but they said, I thought it was a great movie. To anyone that says it was a terrible movie and say it's getting lazier because it teaches people's differences, then y'all are closed-minded and have a messy, jacked-up brain. I know that is your opinion, but it's the ugly truth. Have a nice day, dang it.
Hey, my closed mind. Nice day, dang it. My closed mind makes me unique and special.
Yeah. Hey, yeah. See, you can't. It's like you can't kink shame us. You can't, shame our own unique personalities. Our closed-mindedness makes us special.
Yes, and being a bigot is special.
Yeah. But what was I going to point out? I love how he said, like, I know that's your opinion, but that's the ugly truth, like truth and opinion.
Yeah, I know that's your opinion, but it's the truth. They have messy, jacked up brain.
Yeah. Everyone in our box of shame has a messy, jacked up brain.
Yeah. There we go. And then we have IMDb and kind of switch back.
This is your brain. I'm messy, jacked up.
We got Sticky 12. 10 out of 10 changed my life. Wow.
Great. We're not doing ugly dollism.
Never thought how a silly movie about dolls would change my life. I was depressed, had no life. My parents hated me, called me ugly. and I always thought so, until I was taken to see this life-changing movie. Uglydolls is not a silly, cliched animated movie. It is a work of art. The animation is beautiful. The songs are amazing. But more importantly, the message is by far the best thing ever. It tells you to be yourself and not change who you are. And so I was myself as always. Long live Uglydolls. And they will live forever.
That's a perfectly sincere review, I imagine.
Yes,
I like
it
how
is.
they say that his own parents call him ugly and obviously hate his guts, but they still took him to the movie theaters.
Well, it's like an
Hey,
obligation,
yeah,
when you're raising a child.
They're just biding their time until he's 18. But I'm glad that movie, inspired him. So I guess we could say that it's inspiring the ugly people who are hated by their parents.
Yes.
It's a very niche
Inspiring to them.
alcove there and the demographic pie, but it's there.
I think that's what their intention was, to inspire, unfortunate-looking people.
Yes.
Because there's not enough ugly representation in Hollywood, and this movie is doing its part.
Exactly.
If you're a hideous freak, this movie will appeal to you.
So,
Appeals to hideous freaks. That's
and
the
then
problem.
we have people who I kind of feel they didn't really understand the point of the movie.
How could you not understand the point of this movie?
We figured it out before we
Well, right,
with a
but
teaser.
not in that sense. So it's Malini?
Malini. Hey, I went to go see this
Milani, I'm
movie.
sorry. It's Milani.
We gotta quit doing the Italian jokes every time.
It's Milani. Gave it a thumbs down. I wanted to like this movie so much. Although I understood the messaging, it was executed terribly. Essentially, the Uglydolls were picked on for being less attractive and for not being pretty and perfect. They were banished to a rundown city. Songs include calling people UGLY, or ugly, and pointing out flaws in noses, freckles, length of legs, just went way too far for the target audience. Our group of kids left saying that movie was mean. The parents unanimously agreed. So, to have the message mean anything, you have to have discrimination, basically, to the ugly dolls. Or else the message really doesn't mean anything at all. It loses the point. So if they were just like, nobody picked on them and said, oh, we can accept who we are now, it wouldn't mean anything.
There's no conflict.
Exactly.
But I kind of think I see where they're coming from, because like the movie has to point out these little things about characters, not necessarily from the perspective of the bullies. The movie itself is super hyper focused on differences. So does it become a point where the movie is like inadvertently bullying its characters by being so focused on their deficiencies and making that the center stage?
What a twist!
Yeah. But
I think it's interesting how they say that our group of kids left saying that movie was mean. And that there was a lot of reviews, I don't think I grabbed any, that said like, oh, this movie is bad because now kids are going to emulate the movie and be bullies now. But if kids even think it's mean, it kind of works in its favor that no one's going to emulate
listen,
it.
it works in a... That's weird.
Kids, listen, I don't understand this. Kids don't go into a movie theater and they watch a movie and they come out and their personality is made a 180 than what they were.
I mean, kids do emulate what they see, but I mean, that's fair
But not
too.
to that extent.
Yeah. But that's another weird thing where, like, it was so antithetical to its proposed message, it actually went back around and taught kids the appropriate...
You said you didn't want this to become an emoji movie,
yeah,
but
it's becoming that.
just...
It's like a negative example movie.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
My mind's expanding.
And I also had the thought, like, it's funny in movies, they're like anti-war, anti-violence movies where the point is that violence is awful, but then the movie's just full of violence and, fight scenes and stuff.
Yeah.
Where, like, you understand the message, but it's so inundated with the thing it's supposedly against, it becomes hurtful to its own message.
Right. That's what I'm saying is that, the movie can be hypocritical at times or not have any impact because they didn't bother to do anything, basically.
Because I'm saying, like, maybe, obviously it's meant to be interpreted that the bullying is wrong, but the movie is so full of bullying, even though it's trying to have a good message, just becomes hateful just from the sheer magnitude of all of the mean things being said in the movie. I don't know. I'm picking way too much at this little.
This is just so
little
sad.
thing here, but
They work so hard, only to have their message turned on itself. They should have gotten John Cena.
I guess this movie is really, really deep, or at least its message is...
I think it's an
I
accidental.
can't figure
deepness.
out if the movie has hurt its own message, or by hurting its message actually given the right message where they've taught the kids that being mean is wrong just because the movie was too mean. even though it wasn't trying to be too mean. I can't even speak right. This is so like convoluted.
Yeah, these kids movies, you think they're real simple,
Yeah.
you know, have a basic message, but
Yeah.
when you look deep into, I guess, the unintended aspects of it, of its message, it really just starts to expand into a philosophical conversation. I guess.
I don't know why that is.
Because they don't think about anything.
Yeah, that's true.
Pro con, the implications of its message are confusing.
Yeah, I would say pro con. It's either it teaches it teaches a good message
The wrong way.
through negative example. It's either that or it totally messed up its message. You know.
All right, while you're doing that, we'll go into the next one because it's kind of similar. We got Catherine, who gave it a thumbs down. I'm in the middle of the movie and feel so uncomfortable with my daughter, who is hearing a song about covering who you are and having a little tuck here, dressing to satisfy others. Very, very wrong. So focused on looks and fitting in, I am just about to leave. Too much superficial aspects and puts downs in the movie so far. It's very obvious and negative.
I mean, I feel like that's the same problem we just got into. Like,
Wait,
she's
she-
reviewing it in the middle of the movie while she's watching it.
Hey, she should silence her
see-
cell phone.
I didn't
Yeah.
realize
Well, she-
this
maybe
Someone
silence
get an
that.
usher in there right now.
Yeah. It may be silent. It's just she's using it.
Well, I don't know if they could afford Usher.
Yeah, yeah. He's the one pop star they couldn't get in the movie. Oh man.
But I thought that was interesting is that dressing is something you can't control.
Yeah.
So is it wrong to tell? I mean, obviously they're saying it's bad in the movie, but is it really wrong to say, hey, you know, dress to look good or dressing to satisfy others? We do it every day.
Well,
we
you
get
can't
up.
tell girls that. That's where it becomes wrong.
Right,
You know, for men, it's fine. You
but
can make fun of
but
what men
people
wear.
themselves are very focused on looks and fitting in.
Yeah.
So I mean,
No, well,
I
that's-
guess it's the dirty secret of society. We can't
Yeah.
say, oh, you need to fit in basically or
Yeah.
look good. I mean,
Well,
Everyone does it, but no one wants
To say it.
To say it, yeah. As you're saying, it's the dirty
Listen,
yeah,
secret.
it's the
people,
social contract.
We're a social creature. Nothing wrong with wanting to fit in with a group or something like that, you know?
Yeah, I mean,
To
to
a
a certain,
certain
yeah.
extent,
certain
yeah.
extent.
You know what I mean to a certain extent, but it's like you lie. That's the point where you lie to yourself like
Yeah.
these people are doing.
Yeah, but people are really I mean, maybe this is saying too much, but people are really hypersensitive about, you know, for girls, like telling them what to wear, you know, blah blah blah, that whole angle.
Yeah.
And I may cut this out because
That's
know,
fine.
even me talking about it.
Well, there's entire reality TV shows about makeup and all that on TV right now.
Still
Yeah,
think-
dressing up, fashion shows and all that.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any
I'm
sense.
still wondering if too much superficial aspects and put downs in the movie so far, it's very obvious and negative. Isn't that the point?
Yeah, I
to
feel
a
like that's what
large
we're coming
extent,
back to. This
it's
is
the-
the point of the movie.
You can't have a positive message about being yourself if you don't have a negative message about someone disparaging you, I guess.
Yeah. Maybe the movie's too heavy front loaded with because obviously the kicker of this film is at the end we learn that everything that's been said up until this point is wrong. Obviously it's building to that where the Uglydolls don't need to change, they're fine, their differences make them unique and special.
Like garbage.
But maybe it takes so long to get to that point you're just beat over the head with like
You
know,
forget.
maybe.
yeah, because she's reviewing the movie in the middle of it. First of all, I'm offended because she's kind of stealing our shtick here, or she's jumping to conclusions about something she doesn't know the full context of.
But we haven't seen the movie and we know the ending.
I like how I would never think to do that. I'm in the middle of a movie.
So I'm gonna
I
read
whip
it.
out my phone so I go to the review site and just write a review real quick.
She really needed to vent, I guess. Was it a woman that wrote it? I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's Catherine.
Yeah, it was.
Well, don't say it like that. I just couldn't remember. I didn't want to assume.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like maybe the movie is shooting itself in the foot by having way too much of the negative stuff up front. And so no one's like really, by the time you get to the end, it feels kind of blunted because you've been beat over the head for like an hour and 45 minutes.
And you
of
come to despise
negativity.
the Ugly Dolls.
Yeah.
I wonder if, like, after the movie's over, there's a desk outside, and it's got like a bunch of beauty care products. It's like under the Uglydolls brand. You come outside, and there's they sell you beauty products. I think that would be the perfect scheme. You have basically you put so much negativity into it, and a little bit of positivity at the end. That at the end you sell a whole line just right out the theaters. I think.
So I'm beginning to think that maybe we were wrong, that this isn't teaching through negative example. It just handled its message horribly. There was too much negativity at first.
Yeah. While you do that, we have Alejo Fernandez. Photo RTO film. Don't You Sir It is rated PG. Is bot forma 5 yeets old children. So I was really
5
confused.
yeets?
5 yeets.
5 yeets to do. Instead of stars, we're using yeets now.
5 yeets old
my
children.
goodness.
I don't know what this is.
Old
So,
children.
10 out of 10.
Well,
Don't you sir, it is rated PG. Is bot forma 5 yeets old children. So.
I feel like that whoever wrote that Hellboy review,
Maybe they came back.
I want to share something about old children and 5 yeets.
A little short.
I really think bots are getting into our review areas here.
They are. And then we have a bunch of short ones.
I'm gonna give out 5 eats now.
5 yeets.
Did this movie slap? Yeah, I gave it 5 yeets.
5 eats. It's like horrible, like meme cringe, just encapsulated into a little.
So
I give it 5 yeets.
So we have Maha Saeed, and then student in brackets. Never have seen it, but I think it will be good. All ages can watch it. Don't tell me what it is about. I love these. I really do. They say, I haven't seen it. It's like they're on like some sort of forum, basically.
Yeah,
Rather than a review site.
site.
Don't tell me what it's about. Nobody can directly. I mean, we've had a little bit of interactions, but no one can mention someone or comment or anything like that. So it's really weird.
It's kind of, you're living on the edge a little bit to go to a place where the movies may be discussed and ask people not to tell you about it.
Yeah.
It's kind of like Russian roulette with spoilers, It's like.
Then we have Eric Hall. Dolls are pretty ugly. Thought that was funny.
What a champ. Absolute mad lad.
He came there to dunk on these poor dolls. We've already got enough problems.
I want him in the MVP.
Who is this person?
Eric.
Put Eric in there.
There's so much just wasted data and way on the internet.
We have a neat, basically calling someone ugly because they're different. ... Too much singing. It's a musical. It's literally
It
a musical.
advertised itself as a musical.
Too much
That same
singing.
person who hated the singing. What was that movie? Was it?
Is it
Smallfoot? Yeah, it's like
Smallfoot.
it's that same group of people who hate singing regardless
So
of the context.
now we have the 3 that I'm really interested in because Uglydolls kind of ruin these people's lives. Let me say.
Oh my goodness.
So we have Brick Plays. My wife forced me to see this, and now I am divorced.
No.
So
God, it causes you to get divorced.
Sam, why get this movie the more and more
we
we
have
talk about it?
Javier. My son told me that watching this movie will cure me of my depression. I now disown him.
It ruins families. I'm going to wait here until
it's
you
just a
sit up.
calamity. And then Ruben. It sticks its name so much. In fact, it gave me eye cancer.
Okay, so causes divorce. I would say
Destroys families. Causes physical bodily harm to people. I mean, this movie
It gives you,
menace.
it's so cancerous, it gives you actual cancer.
If you eye cancer. So this is terrifying right here because we've gone from like Star Wars fatigue,
Yeah.
tonal whiplash. We've gone from things that are bad, admittedly. This is a straight up blight. This man's eyes, he can't see anymore. He's probably had to have his eyes removed to keep from succumbing to cancer.
Yeah.
What makes me think is that maybe this movie was created by the military
Yeah.
Could be.
as a biological weapon.
The military's been doing a lot of weird stuff recently.
I know, I was about to say that. We've already seen how they're kind of doing like MK Ultra with movie fragments, beamed directly into your mind or whatever
Yeah.
from that previous review if it wasn't a robot. But this podcast has charted out the chilling evolution of cinema-based pathogens.
Yeah, or cinema-based weaponry, basically.
Yeah, weaponry, pathogens.
I mean, if you think about it, no one's expecting the movie to blight them necessarily, especially not destroy families.
Yeah.
And that's how you can break down society a lot of times is, breaking down the family unit, putting diseases on people, all that.
And what better way to hit them than where they feel safe in a movie theater?
Yeah, and
That's
it's a
what I'm saying.
family movie, so it's perfectly geared for destroying families.
Massive Chinese audience, I'm just saying.
So I mean, Khan, this thing is a biological weapon.
Yeah. This movie was not supposed to be
Biological weapon.
anything else than applied upon people, really.
It uses all forms of blights, psychological,
All the negativity.
and all that. Yeah,
This is what everything has been built to up to this point.
it's the Ugly Doll movie.
Yeah. So the movie is about how our ugliness, quote unquote, makes us special, and it's ultimately fine. But this guy was so repulsed by the dolls, it gave him eye cancer. So has he disproved that message that some people are just inherently, I guess, like we were saying, like a bunch of meanie heads, that some people are just inherently so broken?
I guess so.
I don't know where I'm going with this, but it feels like he has disproved their message that they're trying to give just by the result that the movie inflicted on him. But of course, the movie may be geared inherently to do that. Maybe it's a cruel irony that the movie is about how the ugliness of the dolls is okay, but that's ultimately what afflicted. The people who made this weapon are so diabolical.
Yeah.
They made the movie that gives you eye cancer from a movie that's supposed to be about how all are, we're all special.
Sick and twisted.
Yeah.
I love them.
Yeah. It's just pure evil.
It really is just
I
pure evil.
appreciate pure evil. Just to pretend to be anything else.
Yeah, he was supposed to learn how to see everyone, as special and unique, and now he can't see it all.
Hey, that's no longer beauty or ugly to him now.
It's poetic.
In a way, that maybe that's what the movie's trying to do. It's trying to blind people so that way, beauty and ugliness, they don't matter anymore once you're blind. They really don't.
It's the great equalizer. Well, maybe this is trying to maybe not destroy society, but unite us in a utopia. There's no families, there's no marriage, everything's communal, and there's no eyeballs, so we can't see each other and make judgments. This is the one true route to a utopia.
Yeah, and because everyone's blind, we can't really fight each other very
No.
effectively. We certainly can't use like nukes or massive amounts of
guns,
weaponry.
yeah, we can't
or
aim.
cars or do anything.
Yeah, this is terrorism. It's like a JRPG villain who thinks they're doing a horrific thing for the right reason. They're trying to bring about paradise through a horrible means.
Well, now I want that Final Fantasy game. where the
like
main...
Thanos or Ozymandias,
So pro-con, it's trying to break. Well, I mean, is it just is it a pro-con?
I don't know. Okay, we'll do a pro-con. It's a con if it's just doing the stuff.
Well, I
you
just
know,
mean
for
that.
no reason. But
I mean, being blind may bring us to utopia, but if everyone's
Yeah.
blind, so there's a couple of different thoughts here.
Trying
very
to-
crazy thoughts.
to create.
I want to see this as an RPG plot
What?
where the main bad guy comes out and says, "Yes, I made a children's movie that blind everyone and create a utopia."
But the thing is, the person who created it, what if they just put out one of their eyes, and the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king?
Then the utopia will be destroyed because this one-eyed guy will be ruling it. It'll be a monarchy.
Right, but he's the one who created the Ugly Dolls thing, the blind people. What if that's the plot?
That's the plot. He took that. He was so inspired by that idiom that he took it to the greatest extreme. He's creating his blind kingdom, and then he will pluck out one eye.
So that way he can be king.
So we found. I don't know where to put this, but we found the ploy of the one-eyed king.
The One-Eyed King made this movie.
Maybe he already has one eye.
Oh, he probably has one eye already.
Yeah.
So we have.
It kind of like Odin in a way, because he took in one eye for knowledge and wisdom.
Yeah.
So we have Peter Rabbit fighting Beth Everyman, one-eyed
One-eyed
king.
Is this pro? Is this con? It's a con. I'm putting it in con. Because it's his evil plan to rule over us.
Yes.
I mean, if it's for Utopia, pro-con, obviously I don't want to be blind. And
Yeah.
Utopia, that would be weird if...
And then it could also just be a military weapon.
Yeah.
So those are the three options. I like
Pick your
personally.
poison.
I like the one-eyed king, but you know.
Yeah, it's kind of looking that way to me, though. If
Yeah.
I had to choose one, I'm thinking the one-eyed king.
He's
is
made a
behind.
movie to blind people.
Because that would have explained why there's a good message in there whatsoever. He's trying to make us all like, sheep.
Yeah,
He's trying
and
to teach us and make us malleable.
Why it's so evil as well. I mean,
Yeah.
Because he's
He's
really
using
evil.
using that good message for evil purposes.
I really hate that we had to read the appendixes of
The
Uglydolls.
appendices?
Yeah, appendices to figure out all this.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah. Cimmerillion of the Uglydol. Has the one-eyed king in the past, and all that.
Yeah. Oh man, I didn't.
And
I never
there are
see it
more-
coming.
Yeah.
I never do. It just.
It just kind of happens.
Yeah, these terrifying worlds that we're just not even aware of these things going on, and it's just weird that we're finding out about them through the most, obscure means, movie reviews or online. It's just
Well, that's where, villains and bad people really like to brag.
yeah,
But they don't want to be found out, ultimately.
No.
So where do they release all their information? Through movie reviews, obviously.
Yeah.
We
Well,
just
it's-
tapped into that.
It's kind of like serial killers. They'd send like ciphers in their letters.
Yeah, exactly.
Supposedly messages you can decode because they ultimately want to show off. This is what's happening. The
Yeah.
little messages and reviews.
All right, so that's it with random reviews. And remember, reviews
Yeah.
change lives or save lives. I can't.
Yeah, reviews change lives.
Yeah.
So, let's move on now to facts and follies, and I feel like I've done a better job this time
Yay!
on curating these. I guess first to start off, we kind of have a quote here. Mandy, I think that's the pink one.
Yeah,
Apparently, she
thank you.
says, "Oh my doll" at one point. And I just thought it was interesting because it's another in a kids movie where they change expletives and taking the Lord's name in vain into what they are. It reminded me of I'm gonna Smurf and stuff like
Yeah.
that. I always hate this. I really do, and I just had to point it out.
Well, I mean, would these horrible abominations of creatures that have been given life know about God? That's the
Well, to them, God would be
A
human
human?
or the claw or the machine,
it's
the
claw.
factory.
It's the claw.
The claw.
Like I said, they bonded with the claw.
Oh my factory or oh my
What the claw is going on?
yeah.
But Oh My Factory would actually be very clever dialogue.
Yeah, but no, we gotta, because doll sounds like God, so we gotta do it. I had to point that out.
Yeah.
So this one here, this fact here kind of plays into a larger point, but this is Pitbull's second time voice acting in a theatrical film after Epic, and this was a surprise to me because I felt like Pitbull had been in a dozen movies at this
What if I
point.
told you we had this exact same conversation on the future review?
Yeah, no, I know we did, but I'm just realizing that at the time I thought he was in a ton of movies, but he's only been in like one.
Yeah.
And
But he's done the soundtrack of other movies.
And I don't know what it is about Pitbull that makes him so it's not like he's advertised more than other pop stars or anything, but for some reason he is so prevalent. He's like the grim specter of death. Like you might forget about him a little bit, but he's always there. He's always lurking in the background. And when you die, he will bend down and whisper in your ear, "Mr. Worldwide." I don't know. It's just.
How do we feel about wrestlers and rappers getting onto
Oh
our
yeah, that was the
movies?
point I was going to bring up here. I don't. There's something about when I know it's a musical, so it makes sense then. So I can't really be that upset about it. But there's just something off-putting when I just see pop star names in the cast list.
Yeah.
And I know it's probably just real shallow, but just to me that it kind of breaks the veneer. It becomes obvious this is not an artistic statement so much.
Yeah.
It's like this is a commercial product finely engineered to try and put butts in seats. And so we found all your latest, pop stars that aren't going to be relevant in a couple years, except for Pitbull, who apparently will outlive us all.
He will rule over the
Yeah.
Uglydolls.
Yeah, it'll be the Uglydolls and him after the world is a
Uglydolls.
blasted wasteland. Yeah, I mean, how do you feel about it? Because it kind of irks me a little bit in some ways.
I don't really care so much
Yeah.
about the wrestlers because they're already actors.
That's true.
Yeah, the
Some of-
wrestlers I'm okay with.
Yeah, some about pop stars that just bugs me.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's they're already so famous or
Yeah, I mean,
just I'm a old fogey who doesn't like these flim flam singers in my movies, with their weird names like Bebe Rexha and Charlie XCX. I don't know if I'm just showing my age here. I'm not even that old, but
no, you're not. But
I feel like you age faster in the age of the internet.
yeah, information ages faster, I
Yeah.
guess. But yeah, I guess it's okay. I
No,
mean,
it's fine. There's nothing inherently wrong with it. It just, to me, it destroys any artifice that this is, I don't know.
pure and artistic. I don't know.
But it's not. It's obviously a product. Everything artistic is a product, technically.
Yeah.
For some reason, seeing a pop star's name in the credits it just bugs me, and I don't know why. I don't know. It's just my personal problem, my cross to bear, but I don't know. It is
Billy
what it is.
lives a miserable existence.
It's true, folks.
Everyone pity him.
Yeah. That's where it's gonna. This fact here, most of the voice cast is film or music artists, some of which have had no major acting experiences. It doesn't matter. They're just using the name, and they need them to sing.
Yeah.
Which is
Sing, monkey, sing.
And what I noticed is, this is like the second time voice acting for most people in the cast.
Yeah.
I didn't. It was just a weird connection there. It's like. Gabriel Iglesias, Kelly Asbury, Pitbull, Nick Jonas, Kelly Clarkson, Emma Roberts. I was wondering if it was like a bunch of actors at the same time were like, you know what? I really need to fill out my my resume or my portfolio. What haven't I done? And they all realized at the same time they hadn't had much voice acting experience. So
They've only done one,
Yeah.
Gotta
Hey,
do the
what's
second.
on the docket, agent? Hey, well they're casting for Uglydolls, and so they all everyone went into it at once, and that's. Uglydolls, they'll take anyone. So, they're desperate for talent, so come on. Apparently that's the Wilhelm scream in the movie. The male delivery creature screams as he gives the illustrations of Mandy and Moxie's capture to Ox. I don't know why he's screaming there, but nevertheless he does.
Wow, I mean, he's got a horrible existence.
Yeah, he is an abomination cast.
No,
out.
I mean, he's got to deliver the mail. That's a terrible job. No, I'm joking.
Oh, big slam on the Postal Service.
I think they'll agree with me.
Yeah.
But has the Wilhelm scream become too much of a tired joke at this point? I don't know how to feel about it anymore.
Well, I mean, it's massively overdone.
Yeah, it's in everything.
And sadly, it's never used for its original purpose, which is man being eaten by alligators.
Yeah. But it is used a lot, like, when people meet their doom, like in Lord of the Rings and stuff like that. But, I don't know, it's become at this point, I just think of it as a long-running joke, and it just pulls me out of the movie, every time I hear it now.
Yeah.
And at first it was funny, but this has gone on way too long.
We need a new Wilhelm scream.
Yeah, I don't know what.
Maybe we can get a son, Wilhelm Scream Jr.
It's slightly quieter. It's not quite as strong.
Like,
Yeah, he's still learning the ropes of screaming. And then this one, I didn't make any. I didn't make any sense to me. It's in spoilers. In the Unbreakable song sequence, when every mirror is stepped on by Mandy and Moxie, it flashes yellow and pink, respectively, by each character. But when they are together on the same mirror, it flashes and glows white.
Why is that a thing?
What?
What is it?
What are the implications? I don't know if we want to delve into the implications of that.
No, that's what I don't understand why this is here, because it's not spoiling anything.
It's really...
There's no... It's not trivia.
What is this?
It's just a scene from the movie. That's why I was confused.
Sometimes they do weird things.
Yeah, I mean, I forget that anyone could ultimately add this stuff if they feel like it. But I was just...
It's got a very deep message,
Yeah.
One of them is yellow, one of them is pink, and together they make white for some reason.
I know, first I thought that was where it was going, but it's not like two colors combining to make another color, like implying like unity.
What would pink and yellow even look like?
It wouldn't be it's not a thing. It would just be like a cream color, like salmony kind of, or something like that.
Nice glowing salmony.
But
color.
pink and yellow do not make white.
It makes them brown.
Okay, well,
maybe they.
It's like a kind of an umber sort of.
Yeah, very
orange
light
color.
brown.
I don't know. I just had to bring it up because I had no clue. Is this part of the weapon angle, where is this some like subliminal message, like the flashing the colors? I had no clue. It was just the weirdest. It's like in the reviews, these people get on here to just share things
Hey,
that have
guys,
no relevance
I'm
whatsoever.
gonna go see the movie. Don't spoil it for me.
Yeah, don't tell me about the colors they make when they step on the mirrors. And then
That's a lot of bad luck, by the way.
in Follies, one Folly, when Mandy, I think that's the human doll girl they meet, turns around to walk out the door, she bumps into the wall and drops her glasses. After she gets her glasses back, she bumps into the same wall again. She can still see the wall even without her glasses on, even though she has blurry vision. So it's very likely she was distracted and wasn't being careful or paying attention to where she was walking to, even though she would feel the door. And that's in Follies. Is that a mistake, or are they just...
Are they talking about Follies as in the characters acting, and not Follies like an animator made error?
No, it's just like...
No, I get Luke's point. What he's saying is that it was a folly for the character inside
Yeah.
the movie.
Well, I mean,
to
again,
run
these are
into the wall.
called goofs. I think they're not called
But
polys. I
that's
call
not.
them polys.
That wasn't an actress.
No.
That was a pre-programmed computer image.
Yeah,
That was intentional. It's not like a computer
It wasn't a goof.
I don't.
an animation error. That's our problem with it. It's
Yeah.
not,
No, that was my problem too. But I couldn't figure out if he was saying that like it's a mistake because she still would have been able to see the wall. It's not like she's
but
gonna.
he just says, "Oh, she was very likely distracted." So
It
he
goes
just-
on to describe.
No, I know that was the other angle. Is I couldn't figure out if he was upset she
What kind
couldn't
of
see it,
sick man wrote that?
or he just wanted to get on here and like try to figure out this little detail.
You
He was-
say you want to meet these people. I want to meet that guy
Yeah.
who wrote that.
he was so fixated on that weird little scene. He was like, was she distracted, or
Tell everyone.
because she would have seen the wall even without her glasses.
These people need a forum. They really do.
But there are forums. This is the internet. You
I
can go
know.
anywhere.
That's what I'm saying. They
Yeah.
need to
Create
get
a
on forum.
subreddit.
Yeah.
Not on these like review sites.
And you can write, hey guys, with that girl when she bumped into the wall and she
Yeah.
got her glasses, do you think she was distracted or something?
I guess he just felt like I have to make sure people see this, and he knows, and then he or she knows that if they write it in the goofs and trivia,
Why
someone
the mirror's
It's
so
just
white?
people like us are gonna see
Yeah, it's
it.
just like the color thing. Someone was so enamored with that.
Yeah.
They put it on just so people could see that.
Yeah.
Basically, it's like I don't understand it because it's so deep, so I'm gonna put it
Yeah.
on here.
I don't know why they put it. Why are you people doing this? Answer us. We want to understand. Oh
Alright.
man,
Is that it?
that's it.
Oh
yeah.
my goodness.
Yeah.
More like facts and follies than more like the writings of a deranged man.
Yeah, it's becoming that way.
The big question we have for the episode is: do we create new scores for this? Because remember, we do have our
Yeah,
old
that's true.
scores.
We have our old scores. I wonder if
Let's give our own scores because remember, these were just guesses.
These are predictions.
These are predictions. They're
Okay.
not our
They're
scores.
not our scores.
So let's go run through our pros and cons, and then when we
Yeah.
get to Rotten Tomatoes, we can validate our
Okay.
scores and see who got closest.
Okay. Okay, so cons. The movie's pro-slavery. The factory in the movie kind of throws off the lore a little bit. The dolls are a possible ecological disaster because, they're just cast out into the wilderness. And the movie causes divorce, destroys families, and gives you eye cancer. And we think it may be a biologic weapon of war, or I'm jumping into pro-cons because it's relevant. It may be the
we only have
the
one
attempt to
pro-con.
create a utopia, a blind utopia, or it could be that and this, or it may be the evil ploy of the one-eyed king. As we said, the idiom in the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king.
Yeah.
We found the guy who was he what they were talking about, or was he a man who happens to have one eye and he was inspired by that saying?
I guess so, but
I like to think of the fact that he's just so baller, he just rips out his eye.
Yeah, but we're thinking he already has one eye just through an accident, or he was born with one eye and he was inspired by that saying and he wanted to become the one-eyed king.
yeah, and that could lead to the utopia. He may not be an evil ruler.
That's what I'm
just,
trying to. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to
Just
figure out.
blinding the whole world is an evil
It's
act.
evil, but
Unfortunately.
from his perspective, like Thanos, he thinks he's doing a good thing.
yeah, so he's bringing about utopia. So
Either he's just evil and he wants to rule over us all, or he's doing it for what he thinks are good reasons. We don't know.
a little bit.
It's
of
the
both,
first we've heard
probably.
about him. It's kind of like lightning fast every man. Don't fully understand him. We just stumbled onto him. Hopefully, as things progress, we might learn more about these, interesting figures. But who knows? And then, finally the pros, because I already did the pro con. This movie's kind of interesting because it kind of goes over the whole AI conundrum. What is the moral and ethical implications of creating life?
Yeah.
And we've learned that every pile of garbage is unique. So even if you are a trash person,
You're unique.
you're still unique and special in your own way. This movie is possibly leading to Rise of the Planet of the Uglydolls, because they will outlive us all. They are immortal, and
Yes.
all they do is consume. This movie is inspiring to ugly people who are hated by their parents, specifically.
Very specific.
But we've also learned it destroys families, but I guess if you're already...
In a broken family, it doesn't
Yeah,
really
it doesn't
matter.
really matter. And the movie, as far as its message goes, it's kind of front-loaded with way too much negativity, which seems to freak out some parents.
Yes.
and
Which may be
other people.
intentional. But,
Yes, we aren't sure. We can, haven't seen the movie, so we can only guess.
All right. And with all that, we have to give some review scores.
I'm giving it an 83.
83?
It's really high.
I really like the fact that it's either a biological weapon.
You like that?
Yeah, it's. I'm tired of conventional warfare. It's just a gun, pew pew. This is really thinking outside the box. I can give them props. And in its deploy of the One-Eyed King, I like it even more because that guy has guts. He's living his dream, and even though I might be blinded, he still has a cool name, the One-Eyed King. I can get behind a guy with a cool name.
And I guess in the future, if he does take over, you want to get on his good side.
Yeah, and too, I also like that these parents are taking their kids to this movie only to be disgusted by it because its message is so front-loaded negative. It's like an interesting twist, and I absolutely love it.
Yeah, I mean...
I love this movie for the wrong reasons, basically.
I mean, I guess I see your point. You've kind of won me over there. At first when I saw the trailer, I was like, this seems really boring and conventional, but it's literally a weapon designed to blind people and to ruin families. So I mean, it's got an interesting.
And even out of base, beyond all that, it's just an interesting thought experiment with all the implications.
Yeah,
of
I like that
the
too.
Sentient dolls.
Well, I like the fact that these parents are like, oh, we're gonna go see the Uglydolls movie. We're gonna have a great time. They go in there and they're just disgusted by it. They're like, oh, why do we see that? It just makes me feel a little schadenfreude, you know.
Yeah.
They take their kids to movies that I see and they ruin them for me.
Well, yeah, that's true. That's true. And I guess you kind of you want to see misery in the world, so you kind of relate with the One-Eyed King a little bit there.
I think everyone has a little bit of the One-Eyed King inside.
Yeah, we're all the One-Eyed King,
yes.
deep at heart. Yeah, I mean, I am terrified with the idea of being blind eventually and wandering about the world and being forced, under the iron fist of a One-Eyed King. It is terrifying. It is all, it's the utopia side is going to be kind of nice, so that's not too bad. But I don't know. I don't know if I gave it a 60. I'm thinking just a nice even 60 because I feel like if we're probably completely wrong and it's just an average kids movie. But it did give me a lot to think about just in terms of how strange the plot is and as a thought experiment, as a possible weapon that will bring about a disturbing utopia. So I feel it's interesting enough to vindicate a 60 at the most. I don't want to give it too high of a score because I am terrified by becoming blind eventually.
A utopia created by blindness sounds like a 70s sci-fi movie that you would see.
Yeah, I mean, I have mixed feelings about the utopia. I like to see, but,
I've kind of been going back and forth on my scores. I do agree with all the good stuff that it is. I like the thought, thing. So I'm going to give it a 68.
Okay.
70.3 repeating. Beautiful.
And what were our scores finally?
They took away our audience score.
Wait, there's no audience score?
They took it away.
Oh, no,
there it is.
Okay.
Woo.
Okay, wow. So the critics gave it a 28% and the audience gave it a 61%. And what were our future reviews, Jake?
Billy, you said the critics were 63% and the audience 75.
Oof. Okay.
Luke said the critics were 51 and the audience 63. I said the critics were 45 and the audience was 70.
Wow, okay.
So Luke got closest for the audience. I got closest for the critics. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I did bad that one. I don't know, the critics hated it way more than I thought they would. That's weird.
Yeah, they did.
It's not Disney.
But it kind of makes sense, breaking the barrier of our comedy.
Yeah.
It seems like a very generic
It's
movie.
the ugly truth.
But
what were our scores now? Mine was 60 and...
60, 68, 83. So
Okay.
70.3 repeating, which
Audience
means the
won.
audience won.
Okay, audience won.
We'll go ahead and read, I guess, the review from a podcast about something.
Yeah.
They say, what a great concept. I found these guys on Twitter a few days ago, and I couldn't wait to listen. That is such an awesome concept, and the Greers pull it off wonderfully. Subscribe if you want to hear the most hilarious movie reviews by guys who haven't seen the movie, which is really great.
Yeah,
We're really
Thank
thankful.
you.
Yeah.
Even though at the beginning I was a little snarky about it.
we
I really appreciate
We
it.
have a hard time taking compliments, I think. We're just so not used to, receive them or whatever. But it's super nice of you, and we're really appreciative no matter how sardonic we sound, especially at the beginning. So sorry about that. But
All right, so other MVPs.
yeah, so our episode MVP was Eric for his nice review of the movie about how did it go? I forgot.
Dolls are pretty ugly.
How do I crack up whenever I hear it?
Yeah. And then, of course, the audience won. And I guess that's it. I guess the podcast is over.
However, I
so suddenly.
still put the freak who wrote that Facts and Follies in the box of shame, even though he isn't officially in there.
Both those people. I don't really want to shame them. I don't understand them more than anything.
I don't understand. That's why I hate them.
You need to watch Uglydolls.
Yeah.
All right. Well, so thank you for listening to Much Review About Nothing. If you want to get in touch with us, you can email us at muchreviewAN@gmail.com, and we're on Twitter at muchreviewAN, and I'm on Twitter at BD_gruesome.
And if you want to support the show, just donate on Patreon and all that sweet jazz.
Oh, and listen to a podcast about something.
Yes.
Like I've said before, they're like our mirror universe selves.
Yes, they're the antithesis of Much Review About Nothing.
Yeah, and they have where they have like in-depth conversations about various things like sports and pop culture.
Marvel. Just a way to sum it up is that they're basically a new podcast every single time because they always have a new concept to talk about.
Oh, okay, cool. So you'll never get bored. All
Yeah.
right. So let's call it there. And I've been your host, Billy Greer.
We've been your co-hosts, Jake Greer and Luke Greer.
And as we end here, I just wanted to kind of sign off or help play us out by reading the wiki page for an ugly doll named Jiro. And there was something oddly chilling about his description, and I'll read it as we end
chilling about
here.
his stare.
Yeah. Jiro wants to hang out with you. Why? He needs you. Jiro thinks life is so complicated, so he needs you to comfort him. Wage and Bobo ask him so many questions, and he isn't sure what makes them think he has any of the answers. Maybe they think his red nose means he's Jiro the Wise. Well, he's not. What time is it? Jiro has no idea. How do you get from here to there? Don't ask. Jiro doesn't know. Jiro just wants to sit on the couch with you and eat some snacks. Is that too much to ask? Jiro doesn't know. But he does know that it's time for you to cancel your plans and hang out with the Uglydolls.